Happy Labor Day weekend, everyone! I have something very special to share from the bottom of my heart. Oh, pause. Here we go. Composed by Geoffrey Bastow himself. Yeah, that was a special theme song for today's presentation, which is my alternative ending to my favorite Disney midquel, Bambi 2. You did a really good job, Disney, but this is my take on how I end it. No offense, you did really well. This is just my version, from the Great Prince's point of view. It was a dark and stormy night in the forest. I, the Great Prince, was relieved to see that my son, Bambi, had just defended himself from the last hound dog. I let out a sigh of relief, and there was a smile on my face. When Bambi saw me, he began running to where I was standing and jumped from the cliff he stood on to the cliff I stood on. We looked into each other's eyes, and we smiled at each other. But before either of us could say a word, the rocks on which Bambi stood gave way, and he fell. "Bambi!" I yelled in terror. I slid down the cliffside and froze right where I was. Bambi was lying motionless on the ground with his eyes closed. I slowly approached him like he was alive. Hoping he was alive. My bad. "Bambi," I said in a gentle voice. "Get up." But he remained the way he was. "Get up," I repeated. But he still couldn't get up. That was it. I had lost my temper. A prince does not... I suddenly remembered what he said to me this earlier that morning. "Bambi, a prince does not... That's all you care about, not about me." It was then that I realized that he had been right all along. I have been so cruel and strict when I was parenting Bambi that I didn't realize that both of us were the only family the other had left. Bambi had come to me because it was a time that I was needed most of all. Because his mother's life had been taken away days ago. As time grew warmer, I had started to realize that Bambi might need me, but it wasn't until after he heard that I was trying to send him away. Then I realized that Bambi couldn't get up right now because he was seriously injured. I got down on the ground. I lowered my head and I began nuzzling him. It was the least I could do since he had never known me to be a father at the time. Then, for the first time in ages, I began to cry. I raised my head took one last look at Bambi's body and sighed. As I prepared to leave, I froze because I heard a weak, small voice say, "Daddy?" I was amazed and relieved, all at the same place at the same time. Bambi was still alive, and he was looking at me through half-open eyes. It was as though the Lord had given me a second chance, like Jonah was granted a second chance after being swallowed by a whale. This was a second chance I was going to take. This time, I was going to be there when Bambi was in need of me, and he needed me now more than ever. I didn't care about being a prince any longer. Now was the time to be a father. "I'm here," I assured him. He smiled at me as I got back down on the ground and began nuzzling his face. "I'm here," I repeated. I ran my head through his brown fur, and he nuzzled me back. We remained this way for another moment, and then we looked at each other. "Are you feeling all right?" I asked gently. "I don't think so," Bambi answered. I don't think I can stand up." "Here you go. Get on my back," I offered. Of course, it only took Bambi a few minutes to get up on my back because he was in pain. But he succeeded. "Let's get you home," I told him. He seemed very pleased to hear me say the word home. When we arrived back at my den, I lay down on the ground and I gently got him down from my back. "Bambi," I said after a moment of silence, "I'd like to say something." "Yes, Daddy?" Bambi asked. I gave a kind smile. "I was strict and tried not to get too close to you because I thought being a prince was much more important than that," I explained. "But now I know I was wrong, and..." I took a deep breath and I said, "I'm really sorry for being so hard on you, especially for pushing you with my antlers and yelling at you after I saved you from a pack of dogs this past winter." Bambi's ears drooped when he saw the guilty look on my face. "I accept your apology, Daddy," he said with a sniffle. "And I forgive you." I still felt guilty as I asked, "So you don't hate me?" "Of course I don't hate you," Bambi said honestly. I smiled at my son, who then said, "And I'm really sorry for what I said to you this morning. And wishing Mother was here instead of you." Tears began to build up in my son's eyes. He felt really bad for what he had said to me this morning. I sighed. "It's okay, Bambi. I had brought it on myself, and you were absolutely correct." Bambi smiled and I continued. "But I've learned a valuable lesson from all of it. And I promise that I'll be a better father from this day forward, and I am keeping that promise." "And I promise I'll never speak to you the way I did ever again," said Bambi as tears left his eyes. I licked Bambi's tears away and I softly said, "I know you miss your mother, but I also know that I will always love you just as much as she did." A smile spread across his face, which he buried into my chest. "I love you too, Daddy," Bambi cried. I nuzzled his head with mine because I felt the warmest feeling in my heart. "You know, Bambi," I explained as my son looked up, "I have been called Great Prince by a lot of animals. But you gave me that warm, happy and joyful feeling by calling me your dad. Bambi smiled as we nuzzled each other. Then he snuggled into my side. I kissed him, and he fell fast asleep. I smiled, and I looked up at the night sky, and I quietly said, I promise, from now on I shall be a better father, and I will never scold Bambi again. I then lay my head down beside Bambi. I closed my eyes and went right to sleep too. As long as Bambi was in need of me, I would be there for him. Whenever he would cry, I would be there to soothe him or cheer him up. Whenever he would be cold, I would let him snuggle up against my fur to keep him warm. And whenever he would be scared, I would nuzzle him and tell him everything would be all right. I loved Bambi so much, and I would as long as I lived. I really hope you liked it, Disney. You did such a very good job on Bambi that this is another of my fan fictions about it. And all other fans, be sure to like, subscribe to my channel, comment on what you liked best, and share with your friends. Goodbye!